Welcome back. We made it. Season 3, episode 19, Ed2Shed. Steve, I finally picked up a little win. I went 5-1. You went 5-2 last week out in London.
Yeah, mitigating a little bit of the damage, but season 2 closes out with me up $45. So thank you very much for funding my gambling plays.
Least I could do. Now, this is a big card. We got Amanda Nunes trying to win that belt back. She still has that 145-pound belt for what it's worth. Juliana Peña going to try to keep that 135-pound belt this week.
Yeah, looking forward to this rematch.
Figueiredo off with a little finger injury, so we're going to get Moreno versus Cara France for an interim belt at 125 pounds. That should be a good matchup, too.
For 125-pound matchup here, this one's going to be dangerous. There might be a finish in this one. Unlikely in the division, but look for a wild one here.
In the draft battle this week, I'm up first because I bet that the Tom Aspinall-Curtis Blaydes fight would go short. Of course, Aspinall with the knee injury. Let's pull up the board. Like I said, we had a very short fight last week, 15 seconds, I believe, and Tom Aspinall blew his knee out. Hate to see it.
Hate to see it. Wishing for a speedy recovery for Tom Aspinall. But you're up first. Let's get the draft started.
I took Don'Tale Mayes. The guy he's fighting is a bit of a can crusher. I think Don'Tale can get it done. He's an experienced heavyweight. I think he's going to be able to beat Hamdi Abdelwahab.
Okay, jumping all the way down to the 148. I'll stick up top to the very heavy favorites, and I'll take Magomed Ankalaev, just riding on the hype train with Ankalaev, stringing together back-to-back wins.
Back around in the draft, I took Semmelsberger, Semi the Jedi. I think he can get it done against Alex Morono. And you grabbed Mike Morales, which is a last-minute replacement fight against Adam Fujit.
Yeah, sneaking this one in here, late-minute edition, cleaning up the heavy odds.
Third round of the draft, I grabbed Drew Dober. I like Drew Dober. I like to watch him fight. He got that wicked fight with Terrence McKinney where he scored the win, hoping he can get it done against Rafael Alves. And then you grabbed Alex Pantoja.
Yeah, looking forward to the Pantoja fight there. I wouldn't be surprised if Pantoja, after a win in this fight, gets to take on somebody in the co-main event there, either Moreno or Kai Cara France.
Good stuff. Fourth round of the draft, I took Negumereanu, and you grabbed Drakkar Klose. Could go either way with Drakkar Klose. I wasn't too hot on that pick, but I let you grab him.
You know, we're in the fourth round of the draft here, so I'll roll the dice.
Up next, I grabbed the assassin baby, Brandon Moreno. I did not like what I saw out of him in the third fight with Figueiredo, but I loved what I saw in the second fight with Figueiredo. He made a lot of adjustments, and as I mentioned previously, this is a rematch, so I think he's going to take what he learned against Cara France, and he's going to make those adjustments, and I'm hoping Cara France doesn't. Sure. Assassin baby Moreno, disappointed in his performance against Figueiredo, hoping he can get back on track against Cara France. I'm looking forward to this fight. Cara France has dynamite in his hands lately. He really put out Garbrandt, and he got a stoppage win recently before that as well.
Yeah, he's coming off a couple of first-round KOs lately, so he's got some power there at the 125 division.
Now, who'd you grab next? You went with Sergey Pavlovich taking on the Black Beast, Derek Lewis. Why did you lean with Pavlovich? This is about an even matchup fight, but I think the money's starting to come in on Pavlovich.
Derek Lewis, a staple in the heavyweight division, always a threat to win. These odds have changed since they were first opened, say a few days ago. It was a pure pick 'em there for a while. I'll lean with the crowd, and I'll take Pavlovich here in the draft, and I'll look to get some value there later on in the gambling picks.
As you mentioned, Pavlovich, 16 wins, 12 of them are first-round knockouts. Me personally, I was leaning away from Pavlovich. His last 2 wins over Shamil Abdurrahimov and Maurice Crochet Boss Green, wasn't really impressed with either one of those guys, so getting a knockout over them isn't a huge win for me. And he looked like crap when Alistair Overeem, old man Alistair Overeem, beat him up. I think Overeem was like 42 years old when he took out Pavlovich.
Yeah, that was his UFC debut as far as I know, so I think he's grown a lot since then. I thought he's been doing a lot better training. He's been breezing through most of his career with first-round KOs. Hopefully, we're going to see him face the talent that's appropriate for him. We're going to get a good matchup here, but this one with Derek Lewis, I'm excited for this one. Don't blink on this fight.
Big time, don't blink on this one. I'm looking forward to that fight. I think the under is like 20-1 that this fight does not hit the scorecard.
I couldn't even find those odds. All I found was under 1.5, and I was slamming it.
Good stuff. I grabbed Amanda Nunes. Did she look bad in her last fight with Peña? Yes. Is she Amanda Nunes? Also yes. I'll roll with the Lioness.
Watching the original matchup here, You could hear the announcers even say Nunes needs to pull back. She doesn't need to force it, load up on her shots, and that's exactly what she did. Nunes with a full camp and full mind on this fight, I think she's going to be fine, pretty much.
Yeah, we could chat a little bit later about that one. Next up in the draft, you grab Jocelyn Edwards. Bit of a tricky pick with that one. And then I grab Blood Diamond. I'm hoping he can bounce back from his very poor performance in his UFC debut.
Yeah, I like Jocelyn Edwards. I took her last time she was up in the draft here. She got it done for me. I'm liking the matchup here against Ji-Yeon Kim. I don't think Kim's really fought anybody there, so I think Edwards has the lean with experience and strength of competition.
Yeah, I saw Ji-Yeon Kim get robbed against Priscilla Cachoeira, I believe, so I didn't even want to touch that.
There's going to be Texas judges all over it, maybe with Kim losing a split decision again or something.
Yeah, some iffy stuff with the Texas judges. Early prelims, our last two picks of the night are on there. Some iffy picks. Could be some fun matchups. We'll see what happens in the early prelims. Not a whole lot to look at. And then the late prelims, I'm really looking forward to Semelsberger-Morono. That's a killer featured prelim this week.
I'm looking forward to Drew Dober and Rafael Alves there as well. Drew Dober is looking good lately, and I think he's got some power in his hands there.
I love watching Drew Dober fight. I think he's got a good style. I think it's going to be a fun fight. Let's jump into that main card. I think this card is real top-heavy. A lot of the matchups I want to see are on that pay-per-view this week.
Kicking off is Magomed Ankalaev and Anthony Smith. We got Ankalaev on a bit of a hype train there. Heavy favorite coming in at minus 475. Too much to bet on, but I think he's going to win, and I think he's going to continue his recent domination there.
I like cheering for Anthony Smith, so I let you grab Magomed Ankalaev. I'm not saying Smith is going to get it done. I'm just saying I hope he gets it done. We got Pantoja Perez in the flyweight slot.
I'm leaning with Pantoja with this one, but this one should be a good matchup, I think.
Definitely. And Perez hasn't fought in over 18 months. It'll be nice to see him back in the octagon.
Yeah, man.
That Derek Lewis fight, man. I'm pumped to see Derek Lewis back in there. He's had a couple of bad losses lately. The Cyril Gane fight, he did not look good. The Tuivasa fight, he was winning until he wasn't.
Yeah, Derek Lewis, he's got to find that magic in his hands again. He's got to get a knockout here against Sergey Pavlovich. Sergey's probably going to be pressing, throwing from range. He's going to be kind of picking his shots. Derek Lewis has got to sit back in the pocket and wait for Sergey to come to him and just pick his counter shot and knock him out. It's going to be a coin flip. Which guy knocks out who, but it's going to be a good one.
Looking forward to that one. Hopefully Derek can dust off the old ground and pound game he's been known for. We haven't seen him use the ground and pound lately. Hopefully he makes a comeback with that this week.
That's true. That could be very dangerous for him. I seen Sergey in his only loss get wrestled by Alistair Overeem, so maybe that's what Derek Lewis's game plan needs to be here.
Yeah, we've seen Sergey lose from the bottom position, and we've seen Derek win from the top position. So we could definitely see that happen again. Main event, I think these are some great fights. I'm really looking forward to the two of these.
Kai Kara-France, Brandon Moreno rematch. This one with a 5-rounder. They fought in a 3-rounder a few years ago. Kai Kara-France has come a long way since then.
Moreno had the back-to-back-to-back fight with Figueiredo, the trilogy. So I'm just glad we're seeing him fight somebody else for a change. It'll be nice. I like watching Moreno fight. He was doing some weird stuff with his hands, some weird karate, and Kara-France is dangerous. So I'm going to think that footwork plays a big role in this. The small guys can move quick, so they got to be careful to not get the angles cut on each other.
Yeah, definitely. Kai Kara-France, he's always had power in his hands. I think now he's kind of learning how to use it, and he's been dangerous these past few fights.
I wouldn't be surprised if we see knockdowns early, not necessarily a finish early, but maybe one guy will get caught right on the chin early in this fight.
The first instance of this fight, they kept a crazy pace going for the 3 rounds. I'm not sure if they'll be able to last the 5, but it should be a good fight. It should be an entertaining fight to watch. These guys just going ham and swinging.
On to that main event, Peña Nunes. I think we're going to see a slow first round. I don't think they're going to come out of the gate swinging for this one. I think it's going to be a much more cautious affair to start, and maybe they're going to ramp it up a bit. I'm also hoping Amanda Nunes dusts off the wrestling. We saw her use it very effectively against Germaine de Randamie, but we'll see what happens in that fight.
Yeah, I think Nunes has to come in with a game plan there. She's got to have 8 minutes of film of exactly what she did wrong last fight. So she's got to bring power, but patience. And Peña's pretty much just got to push her and keep pressure on her and try and force her into mistakes there.
Like you said, Nunes came in there loading on up. She was like minus 1,200 on some books, and she was fighting like it was just going to be a guaranteed thing, and Peña shut that down. I think the line may have over-adjusted. I think minus 275, if you like Amanda, could be a decent price point, frankly.
Yeah, I could really see that one there, and I kind of like Amanda to win by decision there as well. If we're thinking about a slower fight, I know it's a 5-rounder, and these girls came out and gave it their all in the first 2 rounds last time that they were out. But Amanda Nunes by decision is somewhere around, say, plus 400. Everybody's looking for a KO in this fight just because of how fast paced it was last time, but I don't think it's going to be the same fight.
Reversion towards the mean. Maybe a bit of an outlier fight when we saw the stoppage, and things are going to shift back towards the slower pace. Now, you got some gambling picks this week. You took a couple of unders, a couple of overs. You got the Moreno fight under 4.5 and the Pavlovich fight under 1.5.
Yeah, I'm looking into a couple of different props, and I'm trying to get all over the board here, so I'm just going to do a quick rundown here. I like Dontel Mays. You liked him enough to be number 1 pick of the draft, so that's good enough for me. I like Drew Dober. I'm a big fan of Drew Dober there as well, so I'm cheering for him, but I'm also going to take him on this fight at minus 200. I think that's okay. Pantoja, I'm liking him at the 154 mark there as well, so I'm going to throw a couple of bucks down on him. Samuelsberger, I liked him. You liked him, took him second in the draft over a lot of the heavier favorites, so I'll lean towards the Samuelsberger odds that leaned back to 169 from 163 opening there as well. Lewis Pavlovich under 1.5. I'm not overthinking this one. I'll take the 170 price point and I'll just slam it. That's okay. Jocelyn Edwards, I like her against Kim. Nunes Peña, we're talking about a slower fight here, probably over 2.5. A lot of these fights you'll see over 3.5, over 4.5 for these ladies' fights. Over 2.5, I'm going to jump on that one here and get some value at a pick'em range. Derek Lewis, coin toss. Is he gonna knock him out? Yes or no? I'm gonna roll with the yes for the 2.15. You were giving me a couple of props earlier. We got Drakkar Garcia over 2.5. That one's probably going to go the distance. And we got Samuelsberger Moreno probably going the distance there as well. They were somewhere around 1.4 and 1.5 odds each. So I'll parlay them together to get some value on the play. So we'll have the 217 parlay. We'll have Kai Kara France and Brandon Moreno. I would have taken Kai Kara France to win by knockout at somewhere around 5.5 odds, but Moreno's never been finished. So I'll just go with the under 4.5 just in case Moreno finishes Kai Kara France. Maybe he gets reckless, tries to push it. Maybe the guys are just swinging. Maybe they get exhausted after the 3rd or 4th round. Under 4.5. I like it at the 224 price point here. And we're going to sprinkle in Blood Diamond by KO because why not?
Because why not is right. I like the picks this week. Fun little match. Spice up your night. Throw a couple bucks down and see how the fights play out. Now, looking ahead, Jamal thumbs up Hill taking on Thiago Marreta Santos. I'm looking forward to that. Are we going to see Santos turn the gas back on? He's been in friggin' 1st or 2nd gear for the last while, and I think they're going to throw Jamal Hill in there with him to see if he can turn up the heat a little bit.
Yeah, if Santos doesn't turn it up, Hill's just going to knock him out.
Definitely. Hill is the type of fighter, he really seems to be quite serious when he wants to go in there and knock a guy out. I think Hill will get in there and he will make it his fight. And then we got Vera Cruz after that, August 13th. I'm really looking forward to that one. I don't think Dominic Cruz has ever lost a non-title bout, and Chito Vera definitely has some momentum behind him. So I'm looking forward to that fight.
Looking forward to this week of fights. We ended season 2 on UFC 276. We're coming back here, UFC 277. We're going to keep some momentum rolling and do a couple of weeks here now, and we'll see what happens after that.
Yeah, man, we got the NFL coming up, football season. We'll start taking a quick look at that. I know you're a big Ravens fan. We'll see when they start playing a bit of preseason, do a bit of coverage into that, and roll into the first couple of weeks of the NFL season.
Yeah, when we're talking about gambling and gambling picks, NFL is just my wheelhouse. MMA is more of my side project, so I'll see if I can get some better performance on the gambling picks with the NFL. We'll see what happens. We'll still come out with the UFC plays. We'll see if we can post them somewhere for you so you can still follow along.
Follow us on Instagram at Ed2Shed. Follow us on Twitter at Ed2Shed. We'll see y'all next week.
Let's go, baby. Let's go, baby.
Let's go, baby.